Do. My my background is, I'm going to share with you in just a minute, but very delighted that you're here. And we're going to talk about some great project-based learning activities that you can do in your after-school programs. So just wanted to share a little bit about me. I'm Jennifer. If you really know me, you can call me Jenny from the block, but most people call me Dr. B. I am here to teach a little bit more about our program. And if you and your staff later on would like me to do a webinar and or share anything else, I can also support your students and answer any questions. I'm a lifelong educator, teacher, and trainer. And just to share that when I started in city government, I initially worked I was the chief strategy officer for the city of Jacksonville, Florida, which has a very robust after-school program. The city invests about $83 million in after-school programs that are subsidized. And so I managed our preteen and teen workforce development and things like that. So I applaud all the great work that you do, and I know what a difference it is for these young people in finding their way and carving out a great future. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I know it's breakfast time there, so I'm going to do a quick little icebreaker. Hopefully you can see this. But how do you like to get your morning started? Are you a Pop-Tart person? Are you a smoothie person? Are you an absolutely I have to get my coffee on person? Do you like a more formal breakfast? Or do you like a number 5? Or are you like me and you're not a breakfast person? So if anybody wants to share, um, I would love to hear, but it is related to what we're going to talk about today. So you can put your number in the chat, or if you want to unmic and talk to me about your favorite breakfast preferences, I would love to hear it. We've got a lot of 3s. I kind of knew we would. I'm a tea person. I think 3. Okay, number 4, Christian likes a grand slam. Yes, I love it. I love it. I grew up in a very snowy city in Pennsylvania, so we always had sort of the number 5 or cream of wheat. But I live in Savannah now, so as you can imagine, people love their grits. Has anyone, raise your hand if you've ever had grits before? They are an acquired taste. Some people love them. I'm a cream of wheat girl, but I share this today with all of you because many of our kids come to us, whatever age they are, and when they reach you in their after-school programming, they may or may not have ever even had breakfast, right? And while we know they may receive free or reduced lunch or have programs, that will help support them. I was a free and reduced lunch recipient before they offered breakfast, but we know our kids are also picky, even when they're hungry, right? So I say that to say we know that by the time we see them, some of them are experiencing and or on the weekends when they don't see us, right? Or during the breaks when they're not coming to our enrichment programs, they are having those challenges of not having protein to power their brains and energy, and as the kids like to say, they might get hangry, right? They may not make the best decisions or might get frustrated easily, et cetera. And so the program that I'm going to talk to you about today, whose acronym spells the word EAT, is Explore.Act.Tell. And it is rooted in creating opportunities and spaces for after-school programs, summer programs, enrichment programs, et cetera, to give students in grades 6 through 12 the opportunity to learn about food and hunger insecurity, put a name to it, and then to leveraging things like project-based learning to become part of the solution. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And again, this is an icebreaker that you can use with the students because they may be able to share what they love to have, but maybe they haven't been able to have it, right? So we know on a Friday, they may come back to us and not have eaten in some time. And again, food and hunger insecurity is a reality for so many of us in terms of the youth that we are serving. So what is Explore.Act.Tell? Well, it is funded by the Albertsons Foundation. And if you didn't know, is there anyone in here from Pleasanton or anywhere around Pleasanton, Sacramento area? That is actually where the Albertsons Foundation is headquartered. And their foundation is called Nourishing Our Neighbors. And they wanted to make a difference. They have several different programs, but Explore.Act.Tell is their student leadership competition program with activities. Educators like yourselves are able to register and get immediate access to the resources we're going to talk about today. and the lessons are more activity based. And then the great part is because it's all supported by the foundation, it's completely free. They also have a competition where your after school program, your club, your activity, but mostly your after school programs could actually submit and compete for the grant and win up to $2,500 to help whatever activity you have determined or identified to address food and hunger insecurity in your community. All right. So essentially, what students do is they explore the topic of food insecurity. They will research it, and they start that journey off by, and we're going to go through just an overview of the lessons so you can see how interactive they are and open for students to just sort of engage. They're really, I tell people when I implement them in after school programs, we typically do it over a period of weeks, but we do it with a turn and talk mentality where the students talk about topics that are of interest to them. I'll give you an example, and we're going to talk about this particular one, but the kickoff lesson is about what does good leadership look like? What kind of leader are you? And I'd actually be interested when I ask the students the number one answer that they give me, actually top three answers of who is a leader that they admire. But the number one answer that I have been getting lately from students, can you guess what it is? Any guesses? Vanessa, I can't see. Is anybody throwing anything out in the chat?
Not yet. I
Okay.
will let you know.
Do you guys want me to go ahead and divulge the answer? It is themselves. And while I think that it's an interesting phenomenon that our young people are starting to recognize themselves as leaders, I think it's wonderful, right? Because they have that sense of confidence. They know that they can guide and navigate their own future, right? So I also hear Beyonce, I also hear Taylor Swift, I hear athletes, etc. So our youth are very aware of the concept of leadership, and as we're creating spaces for them to see challenges in their community and take ownership from a servant leadership perspective, we want to give them the tools to say, okay, here's a problem or a project in my community that maybe even impacts or affects my own life or my neighbor's life or my family, someone else in my family. So they explore and research it as well, again, building on the foundation of who they are as a leader. And then they take action. So in the after school program, they are able to develop a project, and that could be hosting a soup drive or a peanut butter drive. That could be taking a field trip to your local Albertsons. That could be getting connected or having a speaker come from the area food bank or a nonprofit in the community. Maybe we have something in Savannah called Blessings in a Backpack, where there are opportunities to get lunches and self-service foods that students can take home on weekends or over community breaks. So thinking about those things, they can come up with an activity. It also can be very creatively based. Students can create a video. They can create an advertising campaign to educate their classmates on why you should eat a healthy lunch, how it helps with your brain power, particularly during testing times, right? And then you can work with the students, share some evidence of the work that they've done, whether that's pictures of them collecting food, whether that's pictures of them doing a flash dance to a song promoting the food, whether that's them, sharing their own stories. Then you can submit it and you compete for grants up to $2,500. And again, that's a nice bonus for the work that you are already doing if you're looking to supplement and build out the activities that you do in your after school program. I'm going to share a quick video. Let me make sure that you can hear my optimize. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Share computer sound. Looks like it's on. All right, we'll try this. If not, we'll just go ahead and go. But any questions while we're pulling up the video about the foundation? File your tax. Oops. Hold on. Can you guys still hear me?
Hear you really good, but I'm seeing a black screen.
Can you see it now?
No.
Well, how about
Over 30 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Wow, there is like a black strip at the
Even your
very
neighbors.
top, but
Let's break the cycle
it's
of hunger
Oh,
together.
no
so
worries,
yeah.
no worries. We'll turn that off. Sometimes screen sharing doesn't always work with video, so no problem. But yes, that was just a little bit about the Albertsons Foundation. And again, it's called Nourishing Our Neighbors, and they actually again are the supporters of this program. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint and slideshow. Any questions so far? Okay. One thing I also want to share about this program is it does give you an opportunity if you are focusing on career readiness or college readiness. And I'd love to hear in the chat what attributes you're working on or activities that you are focused on when you're planning enrichment programs for your students in after school. What are the number one sort of leadership or career preparation, activities, characteristics, or traits that you are hoping to build or inspire for them? Does anybody want to unmute and share?
I can share.
Sure.
Something that we're really trying to focus on this year at my site that I work at is promoting activities that really instill self-confidence. A lot of our students we've noticed this year are really struggling with just believing in themselves and thinking that they are capable of doing amazing things. So that's something that we're really trying to promote in the activities that we're choosing for our students.
Sure.
And one of the main things that we're working on with them.
I love that. And I'm glad you share that because that's why when I hear students identify that they're the leader they admire most, I really honor that because to have that confidence at 11 years old, right? Or, that self-awareness is really admirable. And, I feel a duty and an obligation to continue to help to cultivate and contribute to that and to inspire them to take their vision for being a leader and apply it in their own community can be really meaningful because like you said, they're very interested in seeing why, what's the why and where's the impact of what I'm doing. And given those opportunities, it really does affirm for the students that they can be part of the solution, which is really exciting. Anybody else want to share before we move on? And of course, happy to share in the chat as well. All right, we'll go ahead and keep moving. Okay, so when you register for this program, you receive different lessons. And as I shared, the very first one is that leadership lesson. And you can see it's very bright, vibrant. And I always approach this as a turn and talk or a small group. I just did this in New Jersey with some students. I've also done it. I am on the board of a STEM Academy, and they have an alternative high school program. And so working with those student leaders and their after school program to say, again, what do leaders look like? And again, even if they are identifying an athlete or someone that they really admire who may be more on the entertainment side, helping them understand or really kind of whittle down what is it about them? Maybe it is that confidence, right? Maybe it is that sense of direction. A lot of our youth today are very interested in entrepreneurialism. So if they are excited or, admire a social media influencer, which again, that's very popular and we know that. But again, if they have a plan, right? Project planning is so important because the idea of creating something, a dream, et cetera, we know when we want to keep our students engaged. And really, that middle school period of time is where students make a lot of decisions and choices about who they want to be in terms of self-image and effort and energy, right? So giving them the opportunity to start to unpack, oh, a leader looks like me. I am a leader. How do they act? What do they say? What do they think, right? And what are they? What can they do? What do they have? So as you can see on the second page, they are able to then connect it to themselves, where we have those students on different ends of the spectrum, or some aren't, maybe ready to communicate that they're a leader. And then some that say, I am, but I also know, I get mad at my siblings and I lose my temper sometimes and I'm not sure. But you see where they sign it and they make a commitment, which is a really nice way to get this started, because in the program, you're going to give them the opportunity to put their words into action and show you what they can do, which is really refreshing and different for them because it's something that's connected to their community. So whether food or hunger insecurity, touches their lives directly, they can see, hey, I care about my city, I care about my neighborhood, I care about my school and my classmates, and I want them to be successful. So again, the leadership activities where they start to say, what are the qualities? Who are those people? What does that look like? What are the behaviors? And I find with students, when you can whittle down to actual activities or actions and they can see, oh, wow, that's something I know I can do, right? Whether you're teaching them skills about peer mediation or conflict resolution, those are things that when we know better, we do better. And sometimes we are modeling behaviors that we've seen, right? If that's how we solve or approach conflict, maybe we haven't learned the other skills about how to do that. So equipping them with the opportunity to say, hey, I notice my teacher or my principal or my swim coach handles adversity in this way. I don't have those skills, but I wish that I did. I'd like to learn more, opening up those conversations so that they can develop and be proud of and excited for what the future holds. So these are some real students who pulled together a community garden, and I would imagine that some of you may have clubs or kind of pull out activities that you do with the students that may already touch on food and hunger insecurity. So this would be a good opportunity to implement, maybe it's a rainy day and you can't go outside and tend to the garden. So you get the opportunity to explain things, right? And maybe some students aren't willing. I don't know if anybody watches Abbott Elementary, but I love that show. And there was a recent episode where Miss Barbara was encouraging, Miss Barbara's like the veteran teacher, and she works with kindergartners, and she is encouraging Gregory, who is a very passionate teacher as well, but he is a little bit like my 27-year-old daughter, who doesn't like to try new things and is very, very adamant about what she likes. So the idea of actually creating or growing something often exposes our students to new tastes, and they could create a campaign to say, why would you want to have lettuce on your sandwich, right? How does that add value as you're growing? And, well, I want to play in the NBA and I'm only, I haven't grown yet. Well, guess what? If you eat healthy and, you make this plan and incorporate things like lettuce into your sandwich or into your life, or, your nutrition, you may, it's contributing to your positive growth. So again, just connecting it to identifying their dreams, identifying who they want to be as a leader, and then giving them the opportunity to, whether, and again, this is just one example, it's not what you have to do, but giving you an idea of what's been done. And these middle school students really enjoyed it and did it as a part of their after school activity. So the idea is it should be something that they really gravitate toward, and you may have different centers or topics. I also want to mention that you can engage your elementary students as well. It just whatever project you do has to have 6th through 12th graders in it. And it could be 2 6th graders who are leading the charge or who are sort of the leaders of educating their peer educators or peer mediators. Same thing with, whatever that looks like in your middle and high school programs, engaging. If you have a program that serves K through 6, right? Or if you have an after school program that serves 3 through 6, again, there's those opportunities to include the younger kids as well. This is just another quick video. I don't think it's going to work, so we'll go ahead and pass that over. But basically, it goes over the whole process, which is you register for the program and you register for the program. And we'll talk about getting registered today. It's completely free and there's no obligation to do it. You don't have to do it, but it is nice to stay connected and say, hey, I can use these resources. You also can use this for summer school or your summer programs, or if you're doing something over spring break. Absolutely a great opportunity because there are only 4 lessons. If it's a spring break period of 1 week and you already kind of anticipate not as many kids are going to come on Friday, or whatever that looks like, but it's a good opportunity of something to supplement where it doesn't feel like work, but they are learning again and reaffirming those project-based learning skills. So again, the focus of it is we want our students to be aware of and to be able to articulate it, because again, they may be able to say, I notice I don't get 3 meals a day when I'm at home, but that's modeled to me at school. You know, is that a best practice, right? As well, many of you may be engaged with or contributing to, if you're at a site location or a high school or a middle school or an elementary school where they're pursuing the California State Seal of Civic Engagement. And then you may want to, in Florida and other states, there are students that have to get community service hours. So for state funded scholarships. So it's another opportunity there. And of course, building and reaffirming, being an agent of change in your own community. So there's the research component, there's the local, the national, there's the project planning, the teamwork, the collaboration, and then there's the opportunity to become and own their own story. And that's the part that I love the most, because the students do a quick video, and it could be one student, it could be all of the students. You take pictures, you develop and collect those artifacts. Okay, so this is what our website looks like, where you go and again, you just register for free. I'm actually gonna pull that up in a little bit here, but just kind of wanted to share what that, that looks like as you're considering about this being something that you may want to do. So once you get registered, you do that for free. You're going to get an actual paper booklet of the student guide and the facilitator guide. And you'll also be able to access all of these materials online. And I'm your educational consultant because I focus on the state of California. So I can have individual meetings with you. Sometimes I'm in town, sometimes I'm in California. I was just there for CTA North. I'll be there for California Activities Directors Association. So anytime you need support, you can text me, call me, we can jump on a video meeting, but the resources are available on our website as well. And we also can do virtual professional development if you want to dig a little deeper or talk about food and hunger insecurity on a deeper level. And then you'll get some newsletters to see what other teachers and after school programs around the nation, even though I work with California, other states also participate. And it's a good opportunity to build partnerships. So, and those grants, of course, help, because we know funding is always tough for the good enrichment type things that we want to do for our students. The other thing I wanted to share, I don't know how many of you have to do alignment guides for the work that you're doing, or if you have to do lesson plans for your after school activities, but we actually already have alignment guides for project-based learning, social and emotional learning, literacy, social studies and civics, and national health sciences. So food, the family and consumer sciences as well. Those lessons are already there. The other thing I wanted to share is you can download them as PDFs. You can open them up in Word and customize. You don't have to use all four. But again, it does give students the opportunity to practice leadership, understand the fundamentals of project management, and then understanding and empathy, obviously, with their communities. What we have found from students, because we do capture what they share, is they love this program and have fun. And again, we know project-based learning is a good opportunity for students to take the concepts and actually apply them and refine those skills, whether it's public speaking, which we know is the number one fear of adults, right? And if it's tough for us, we know how it is for kids. So if they get youth, so if they get the opportunity to start expressing themselves verbally or artistically, because again, it could be a poster campaign, but it makes them gives them an opportunity. They also, if you do submit, get a certificate of completion. And of course, we can do letters of recommendation if they're trying to get into an academy for high school, or they're looking at scholarships, or if there are awards at your local, middle, elementary, or even in your community for your students. Any questions? Okay, awesome. I will say also that when we look at some of the things we hear back from our students and from our teachers and after school programs, clubs and activities that use it, we hear, that there's, because of the collaboration aspect and the civic engagement, that students, again, are taking ownership of navigating, the roles and responsibilities of being an active community member, an engaged community member. It connects them. Many schools or after school programs connect with a local nonprofit. You don't have to use the grant at your school or for your program. You also can donate it to a local nonprofit, which is obviously a great feeling for the students and a good opportunity there. They also have to learn the art of compromise, right? Because this isn't just one person navigating the whole project. They have to work as a team. You can have multiple teams in your after school program. So I do want to share that. Maybe you go up to 6th and 7th grade. You want to do one for the 6th graders, one for the 7th graders, or you want to partner up the 7th graders with the first, kindergarten through 3rd, whatever that looks like, however your programs are run. And again, it is the opportunity for that experiential learning because they're seeing it in real time. They're building the connections between the activities that they're taking and the choices that they're making. So I mentioned that if you register, you get these educator and student lesson guides, and this shows you really how the lessons are built out. So again, that intro lesson is all about leadership. Then we jump into exploration, which is, hey, what does food insecurity even mean? I know that sometimes I don't go, I don't get meals on the weekend or something like that, right? Or, that kind of thing. And then what does it look like? I see on a national level that it, got these numbers. Wow, how does my city, community, or after school program, like how does it compare? And then they collaborate on the project ideas. They set a clear project goal. And to me, the area that is really critical to me is that action plan. How often do we have good intentions? How often do we have ideas and we just don't know what to do with them? And as we're promoting the entrepreneurial spirit, which will be so critical for our students going forward, this gives them that opportunity to really act. The lesson includes recording the progress and outcomes. So seeing, hey, maybe we have a table in the after school program with fresh fruits and vegetables from our garden, or where we encourage students to like share what they ate for lunch or if they ate lunch, or, we're keeping track of that. Are we making progress? Are people being impacted by what we're doing? And then there's the opportunity for the team to come together, record a video. Again, they may not be comfortable, all of them doing that, but it's really about that reflection. Like, so it goes the full circle from the ideation all the way to how did this really impact what we're doing. So I did want to ask for those of you, and I appreciate who shared with us earlier that, you're really focused on integrating activities into your after school programs that connect with building confidence, building self-awareness, those kinds of things. Does anyone else want to share with what some of your goals are in your after school program and how this might be a good fit or reflection of that?
I'll share. I work for a district of 11 school sites that we're working with, and we just added our middle school school grades as well.
Okay.
And I think this would be a great fit because we're trying to add some leadership roles for them because they feel, middle school is a little more difficult. We have, the sports activities, we have all these other things going on, but a piece that we're missing is the youth leadership, and we wanted to go deeper into that. So I think this would be a great opportunity for them, not only to learn about it, but also to present to our elementary schools and maybe do a presentation for them. And then, just kind of like the ideas that you gave. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And yeah, again, I can't emphasize enough, and we all know this, the middle school is really where a lot of decisions about who I am and, self-identity and what I associate with in terms of choices I make, and how students see themselves. It's so critical that they have that positive affirmation and that as they, get the freedom to self-express in terms of what interests them, they can see that they can be a part of a solution. So thank you for that. So just a couple of things here. This is an example of something you may do with them. Set the scene. You're at a table spread with an abundance of food, but you recently read a statistic that more than 13 million children faced hunger in 2022, and that 1 in every 5 children is unsure where they will get their next meal. More than 34 million people in the U.S. are food or hunger insecure, according to the USDA. How would you tell others about this problem or challenge? And then how would you maybe ask them to help? And again, you could do one of these questions, two of these, come up, or you could do different tabletops where they, kind of go from area to area. And then again, that think, pair, share, whether you do small group, you buddy them up, but do you see it, and again, trying to take away some of that negative stigma. So helping the students learn, hey, yeah, this is a problem. This is a challenge. Our city, state, et cetera, is not unique. It's global, but what can we do about it? And who would we ask? Like even creating a list of stakeholders. Is it our principal? Is it our counselors, right? Maybe it's creating a list of resources for their fellow classmates who, just aren't sure where to go, things like that. So it gives them an opportunity for that as well. Awesome. So yes, so we've got the book, and the idea is now, okay, we started talking about it and we're starting to kind of take ownership of understanding what it is. So developing that plan and taking action. And I do want to emphasize here, because sometimes our teachers or after school programs are like, we started it, but then we got a little overwhelmed and we got really busy. And I would say, I encourage you to submit, because one, I'll give you an example. We have an early deadline, and there's some $100 little like gift cards that you can get if you submit during that period and you're like one of the first or whatever. But again, every dollar helps, and you just don't know that the level of work that you did, whether it was just what you feel like, I just did this. Your students probably did something that is very impressive and or gives them the opportunity. So making them feel like they're a part of the solution is a really important thing. As you can see, here are a lot of different direct samples. We have to the left students learning about, how to make maybe a healthy lunch, making decisions there. Obviously, a variety of food drives. We had some vegetables. We had some canned soups. And then we also had some students you can see down in the lower level who did a breakfast food drive. But we've had students that kind of, and again, it's an opportunity to get connected with your local Albertsons, which it may not be in Albertsons. There's a huge family of groceries, and we'll talk about that before we close as well. But again, it really can be, making an announcement, having a week where you're talking about the importance of eating healthy or making good decisions, or how to make your budget, your food budget, maybe a riff on Guy Fieri's, grocery games, right? How much does it cost to buy? People often think it's more expensive to eat healthy. If I buy organic, why should I buy organic? Things like that. So it's really just getting them to start to think about what it looks like and how they can be a part of that. So, and again, certainly you don't have to do this, but if there are any ideas that you have, or does anyone already have something in play that you do with your students that is in this space, in hunger or food insecurity? Any garden clubs, nature clubs, nutrition clubs? Awesome. Okay. Well, no worries about that, but
Hi,
certainly feel.
Jennifer.
Oh,
I'll
yes.
share. Um,
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Davina. I'm from San Diego, and we support a lot of the districts and charters here in San Diego County. A lot of our districts, well, some of our districts, do the We Scare Hunger campaign, which is very similar. It comes with curriculum, and then it takes them into like community-based learning. And I think about our community schools here in San Diego County and how they're thinking of ways to include like student voice, leadership, and agency into their curriculum. And so thank you, one, for introducing this, because I'm going to share it here in San Diego County. But I had a question about you stating something about a grant at the beginning of it, like a $2,500 grant. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll get to the other slide, because that's you read
Okay.
my mind. So
All right.
good catch on that. Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to mention just real quickly that what we have found as well is, so you said the We Scare Hunger campaign, you actually could use the project that you used for that as well as for this student competition. So what happens? You basically, there is an early deadline, which is February 14th, but you don't have to do that one. And that's the one I was talking about, where you basically submit. Right. So if you registered today, you would get access to the platform, and then you would, kind of take a look at, okay, what does submitting look like eventually, right? But the final deadline for 2025 is May 16. But say like you're going to do a summer program, you can do it over the summer and then submit it when you're done, and it will be judged next year. And we may be adding an additional judging deadline. The Albertsons Foundation has a review committee, and they give out up to 30 grants. They range from $200 to $2,500. When you submit the project from your students, you kind of give, like in your reflection, you say, okay, here's what we are going to do with the money. And it can be used to support your club or school. If you're going to do it that way, and you can see some of these kids have the big check, right? The little programs there. And actually, we had two California winners this year. One was an after-school program, and the other was an Oxnard union, and they did it through Skills USA, I think, and of course FCCLA and a lot of other clubs and organizations and CTSOs are very engaged. But basically, so you decide, and the options that you can use it for are, one, if your school, say your school's developed like a breakfast club, right, or something like that based on whatever the kids came up with, you can use that money to continue to sustain it. You also can donate that money to a nonprofit in your community. So that's what the grants are for.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And like I said, it can definitely be a double, I hate to say double dip, but you certainly, if you're already doing something that's very similar, it's another opportunity to submit. And, students love recognition. And that, again, only helps propel them to continue doing the great work that they're doing. Awesome. And I just want to share, and this is a really long one, but we have as a part of what you submit, right? So Miss Rebecca at a middle school in Newville, Pennsylvania, did it with theater students. And what I love about this is she talks about how in theater, for example, so you may not think, would this be a good fit for theater students? But again, I always tell people too, like when, kids are kind of overwhelmed from testing, or that they're doing some heavy units at school, or maybe it connects to something that they're learning at school, right? Or it's right before the break, or after. This is an opportunity to do that. But these students, at first it helped the teacher. She shares, it challenged my biases and what healthy food means to folks who are different from me, both culturally and socioeconomically. It has challenged me to teach my discipline and food lessons in a way that is more inclusive and equitable, while challenging my students to be open to those differences as well. In short, this opportunity has made me a better, more empathetic teacher. And again, I loved that she did this with her theater students, and they did it as part of a sustainability project. But I also love her feedback and reflection on the students who, and you guys will love this, they were seventh graders, but of course they used this as a way to get out of class, right? But she says they became motivated food security warriors who had an inner spark to do more to combat these issues. As an advisor, the best thing that she could do was stay out of the way. They had a clear vision and goal in mind, and they were able to execute it. Is this not the ultimate goal for a teacher? Those moments where you are no longer needed and in turn have things to learn from your students. There is no greater honor. You can tell she's a theater teacher, right? That's so dramatic, and I love it. I'm here for it. Really inspiring, though, to see, what her experience was like. And again, really appreciate the work that she does and that you do all every day. So what would the next steps be? Getting registered. Again, I'm here and I'll be happy to share more about that, but want to just chat about why to register now. If you register, there's no harm in terms of if, hey, we're not sure we want to use this. It gives you immediate access so you can kind of take a look at everything. You may never touch it again. Hopefully that's not the case, but you get access to those activities, and I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly. It's also a good opportunity to get connected with your local Albertsons store, whatever that is. And then the project-based learning principles, very, very helpful and beneficial. And you may already have some of those projects. And if you register today, I am going to draw from one of those people who register for a $25 gift card to Starbucks. So that's a little incentive there. But I do want to share and go to the website. And while I'm doing that, see if anyone has any questions before we move to the website. Okay, awesome. Well, let me share. Hopefully you all can see my screen. Can you see the website, everyone? Okay, great. So the website is very user-friendly, easy to find. Again, a lot of what we've talked about today is here, the videos if you want to share with your district or your region. I did want to draw your attention to down here. Can you all see the list of the different Albertsons grocery stores? If someone can give me a thumbs up and just let me know that you can see those.
Yes, we can see them.
Awesome. Perfect. So that may be, your particular neighborhood may have a different one. So I just wanted to make sure. But we've had where, groups go for tours or they connect with the manager, etc. So just wanted to share that. The videos are all on here that you weren't able to see, so I apologize about that. But they're real quick and easy and would be a good way to kick off if you decide that you want to do it with the students. And it is all sponsored by our Foundation for Impact on Literacy and Learning, which is who I work through. The resources that I mentioned, there is the early entry deadline, and there is an opportunity there to get that $100. I'm not sure how they're doing. I think it's like the first 20 may get $100 that you can use again for your students for your programs. But the annual deadline is May, and again, you can use this over the summer. You can use this in the fall of next year, etc. So you can see over here, the leadership lesson that I mentioned is in here. The educator lesson guide, all the digital versions are available in here. And then I mentioned the alignments. So alignment to family and consumer sciences, to literacy, to national health guide, project-based learning, social emotional, and then the social studies and civics. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. And Clarice, I saw that you love grits. I love it. I love it. And yeah, there's other resources as well. So we have, as you can see here, project ideas. That's the other thing I wanted to share as well, because sometimes you can be like, I don't know if this is, enough. A lot of them are food drive based, community gardens, things like that. Valentine packages with food for seniors in the community, because, again, it doesn't always have to be school based. Providing meal kits or nutrition classes. I love the drive-through food parade. Lots of different things. You could partner with a local agency to see, if they want to sponsor lunch or different things or activities for the kids. So all of these resources are available to you, even if you don't register. But again, they're all in there. It is Howard, like who picks the winners, right? It is an independent group. I don't have anything to do with it. I would give them all prizes. I would give everyone $2,500 because I just love students and I love it when they take ownership of being part of the difference. But there is an assessment rubric. They also get a completion certificate. Again, that's why I was saying, if they're kind of looking to get into a competitive high school or something like that, or they're looking at scholarships or even a student's, award. And then the rules are all here. There's an administrator permission form for your site coordinator, the action plan, and the team reflections. All of those, you can get them in Google, or you can have an editable PDF version as well. And again, a little more to focus on some examples. You have the Bulldogs Unified Against Hunger. So that was a school. They made their video. It's got their action plan. Maybe I'll just show you that real quickly. The Bulldog, so they wanted to have a partnership with their community food bank. They used social media. They did HOSA, ROTC. So they had a collaboration of different groups. Again, in the task list, you see the team member strengths, like who's really good in this area and who's comfortable doing that, right? And then who's going to take agency or ownership of each of the different tasks that we've identified. Okay. And then they've got to organize that, right? Because if we're trying to get this done by May 16th, what does that look like? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Making sure that everybody feels like they're a part of it. And then what are the obstacles that may occur, right? Because things are going to happen. We had, believe it or not, in Savannah, Georgia, everybody, we had 3 snow days, which of course threw everything off. But again, looking at those kinds of things, what is that like? What are some things that may happen? Maybe some kids get sick, or, there are external, weather conditions that prevent us from going to school, whatever that looks like, right? It says holidays or there's no school and weather. So having them realize that, okay, there might be some challenges, but you know what? We can still keep it moving. And even if we're not going to make that initial deadline, we can then save it for next year if that's the case, right? Or maybe we should plan so that we have a buffer in case that does happen. Okay. And then just to show you the story video, I've had people do it. Can you see the video, guys? I know we've had problems with videos, so I don't want to.
The video is showing up. Yeah.
It is? Okay. Let me try and play it. Let's see if this one will play. Can you see it?
Yes, it's working good.
1 in 70 Mexicans are at risk of hunger, and 1 in 5 children go hungry. The goal of our food distribution is to help those in our community who are struggling to afford food for their families.
We believe that everyone deserves to have enough to eat. With the food distribution, we help over 100 families a month and another 25 families with a food pantry.
I got involved with the food distribution through student government, HOSA, and NHS. I saw this as a great opportunity to give back to our community, and I made many new friends along the way.
I volunteer at the food distribution because I love helping our community, and I believe no one should go hungry.
Feed a dog, feed a pack.
Now theirs was pretty good. I will say she uses the audiovisual club to help her with that. So they did a great job there. But you can see there's also another high school that did a pantry drive. So just kind of wanted to make sure that you guys saw, the website, anything that I can do. The other thing is I meet with teachers all the time. If you do win, which I'd love, we had, like I said, our first California winners last year. We have a little newsletter. The Albertsons company is definitely all about celebrating the schools. The funder of the foundation is very interested in getting connected. So it is a great way to also build out another community partner for the great work that you're doing. So I'm going to leave it open for questions. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. Anybody? Awesome. Well, my email, I will put my email in the chat. Would love it. And thanks, Vanessa, for putting that in there as well. My email is Jennifer@Explore.Act.Tell.org. And my phone number is also here as well. I'm happy to always jump on a call. And if you do register today, please let me know, but I get a notification. So I'll make sure that I will not pick a winner until tomorrow for a $25 Starbucks gift card. But yeah, I'll pick one in the morning and then I'll send out an email. But please, stay connected. And I just want to applaud all the great work that you're doing. I know how important it is to keep students engaged before, after, and continue to build and, extend the network of care for our young people. So I want to thank you all for the work that you do and how important it is. Yeah. And I'll stay here for the next few minutes, but you have a little bit of time left before your next session. So thank you for joining me.
Will we have access to the PowerPoint you just shared? And also when I share this resource with LEAs here in San Diego, should they contact you if they have questions?
Yes, before we go off too, I did want to mention we have a special grant for Los Angeles schools, and I will share that, Vanessa, but yes, absolutely. I will give her the PowerPoint, and then I will also share the flyer for any schools that are in Los Angeles as well. Yes, absolutely. And I can, like, Davina, I can come, like online to your school and do a presentation if you want to share like the flyer. I'll give you the flyer, the website, the PowerPoint, and then that Los Angeles school one as well. And yeah, please, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Was everyone enjoying the conference so far? And it's great to hear about what's going on at Fresno as well. Yeah. Yep, those backpack programs can really make a big difference. Thanks, everybody. I'll stay here, like I said. And of course, you are able to email me whenever you need anything. And Vanessa, do you want me to email you the presentation?
You can email Melissa. I believe who
Okay.
you're in contact with.
I
Yeah,
will do it.
we'll make
Thanks,
sure it gets out to everyone. Mhm.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.